Okay, time to do the next one. So now for Blazing Brawler. Is that a tear? A tear? Eater? Anyways. Looks like you're more than worthy to walk the path of the Blazing Brawler. It just so happens that I've discovered someone whose skills are an excellent match for this Arcana as well. So, how about it? Would you like to learn the particulars of the Blazing Brawler Arcana talent? I just realized, let me try something.
Aider.
Aider. Okay, I guess it's Aider. Yes. Very well. I shall assist you in obtaining the Blazing Brawler Arcana talent, an endeavor in which I have no doubt you'll find great success. You ended your conversation. Okay. Thank you for coming. As you might have gathered from the message I sent... Wait, is that a message? Yeah. Put that over there. What I want to discuss with you today is something a bit different from our usual conversations. Typically, when I call for you, it's to help me verify reports of a viable Arcana candidate and assess their fitness for membership in the association. This time, though, I wanted to discuss our search on a broader level. I'd like to reflect on the methods I've been using to gather information. Reflect? Yes, a sort of self-assessment, but with you around to verify if my line of thinking makes sense. Up until recently, I'd been searching only in places within my reach, places where I could reliably source information. But recently, it struck me that I have no way of discovering candidates who might live in remote areas, distant from any permanent settlement. The nature of Arcana is a blending of two talents, and as we've seen, they're often first expressed in response to natural circumstances, not purposefully trained or otherwise dependent on social interaction. It's very possible there are people out there who have developed and honed their skills on their own. I mean, yeah, isn't there like Merlin? Technically, he's like supposed to be fighter and was it magic? Yet we haven't really an Arcana version of that. It's very possible there are people out there who have developed and honed their skills on their own. In light of that, I decided to turn my attention to an area that has gone largely untapped by us, specifically the continent of Iria. I realize I've been too focused on Ulad, where the influence of the monarchy and the organizations it supports have greatest agency. Of course, I've tried several approaches to spread awareness of our organization in Iria as well. I even tried giving information to the Merchants Guild, in the hopes that its traders would spread word to the giants and elves, but being that area is an entirely different realm, I discovered that I'd need to try a few new approaches better suited to its unique challenges. So what did you try? You asked Leor what sorts of methods he's already tried to scout potential Arcana candidates. What sorts of methods he's already tried to scout potential Arcana candidates in area. The corners of his mouth turned up slightly in a satisfied smile. The first and most direct option was simply going there myself. Easy enough to do these days, thanks to the regularity of trade ships. Once I landed in area, my first order of business was finding those well acquainted with not only their places of residence, but the surrounding region as well. Since the Arcana Association is directly affiliated with the Kingdom Alik, you know what? Maybe I should just try doing this. What is the pronunciation of these? Even though it probably might not be. Oh, wait.
Aliech.
Ali, eh? Is that how I choose to pronounce it? Let me change to
A
this.
leech.
Oh wait, it just says it as a leech. Since the Arcana Association is directly affiliated with the Kingdom of Elige, there are limits to how much we can conceal our identity. Given that reality, how would we get a candidate to relocate overseas willingly? People move when there's enough benefit in it for them. While the sort of idealism that would spur one to chase their dreams without regard for immediate gain would surely benefit our recruitment efforts, I'm well aware that sort of thinking isn't exactly typical. Let's say we're successful in getting the word out that the Arcana Association is a wonderful place. That would be excellent. But we can't make it seem as though just anyone can decide to join up and reap the benefits. Keeping out opportunists is equally important. So we want to convey both that the Arcana Association is an organization worth joining, and that joining requires a certain sort of strength. In order to get both of those ideas circulating in area, I engaged in a bit of roleplay, if you will, posing as someone who had already joined the association. I asked around, saying I needed especially sturdy leather armor, something capable of withstanding the forces generated by my swift movements and powerful attacks. I was always sure to mention that cost was no object, but that I'd like the matter to be handled discreetly. Since the way leather is sourced, tanned, and sold differs from region to region, my journey naturally required me to venture from town to town, inspecting materials and comparing quality. This ensured I made contact with both the giants and the elves. On top of that, since I always acted as though I was hoping to keep a low profile whenever I was asked, "What do you even need leather like that for?" I casually mentioned the Arcana Association, and from there, the rumors were sure to start circulating. I think that sets up the right impression we're going for, don't you? Someone with means enough to afford custom-made leather armor, yet powerful enough to necessitate exceptional durability and heat resistance. It's been quite some time now since I placed that order with the Merchants Guild, so I reasoned that if my efforts were going to turn up an Arcana candidate, I'd likely hear something soon. So, what do you think? Will my efforts bear fruit? I think it worked. You tell Leora that even though it might take a while for the rumors to circulate around area, his strategy is sure to turn up a new Arcana candidate or two. He smiles as he replies. I'm pleased that you have faith in my information gathering abilities. Having a vote of confidence from you, I feel more sure about my methods. Now, having given you all the background of my efforts in areas of a sort of preamble, I want you to take a look at this. It's a letter addressed directly to the Arcana Association, from someone whose name doesn't ring any bells, at least to me. Leor picks up an envelope from his desk, handing it to you. Use the letter from someone unfamiliar in your inventory to examine it. Yeah, this one. The signature on the envelope reads Pluvia. Though you can't recall ever meeting anyone by that name, inside you find a short letter. To the Arcana Association, I'm not certain how you seek out and admit new members, but this message pertains to that. Although I myself possess no particular aptitude that would merit your attention, I would like to tell you of someone I believe would be of great interest to you. On the continent of area in Core Village, you'll find someone very dear to me, someone whose skill in combat would be a perfect fit for an organization with a focus like yours. I've heard the Arcana Association boasts a roster of truly unique and exceptional individuals, and my wish is simply to see a worthy talent recognized and cultivated. Pluvia. Ah, Pluvia. P.S. When you find him, please don't mention that I was the one who tipped you off. You fold the letter, slipping it back inside the envelope and handing it back to Leor. So, what do you make of it? Was there anything about this letter that struck you as unusual? I forgot. It was...
Loire.
Oh, Loire? Translate from Irish. I guess that makes a lot more sense. Loire.
Loire.
Wait, why is it doing that? So where is
Loire.
Okay, there we go. That was weird. Wondering why it sounded different. So, what do you make of it? Is there anything struck you as unusual? It was written on behalf of someone else. The writer's affection for the candidate. I guess it was written on behalf of someone else. You don't typically sort through the Arcana Association's mail, but it strikes you as odd that this report was sent by someone other than the candidate in question, possibly without their knowledge. Loire tilts his head slightly, considering your point. Agreed. If this Pluvia went as far as to send a letter of recommendation, it means they're not only aware of our association's focus, they're also very sure the person they're recommending possesses either an arcana or something very similar in nature. They signed their name as one does on a letter, yet requested that their message and involvement not be disclosed. Just what is their relationship to the candidate? Something about this doesn't add up. Calling the candidate someone very dear to me, signing their name but telling us to keep mum about the recommendation they sent us? I think we can assume that, at the very least, their use of such a term of endearment indicates a genuine affection for the candidate. But if we accept that much to be true, wouldn't it have been far more straightforward for them to simply tell this individual to visit us for an assessment? To me, it seems the most likely reason is that the two are no longer in contact for some reason. If they were, the writer could have shared what they knew about the Arcana Association with this person directly instead of effectively asking us to do the legwork ourselves. Admittedly, we don't have a lot to go on here, but if I had to make a guess, it may be that the candidate being recommended to us has a rather challenging personality to deal with. Perhaps to the point that they have difficulty interacting with others. There's no harm in trying to establish contact, but you'll need to take care, especially in the initial overtures. There's no telling what might offend their sensibilities, or potentially cast us in a negative light. That leads us to the next step. I'd like to formally request that you visit Core Village. When you get there, talk with Elder Kosai. He's the one most likely to know where you can find this person. If my hunch is anything to go on, they might not be the type who'd readily join the Arcana Association. I think people like that are more likely to open up to someone like you. For better or worse, I can't really shake the veneer of formality. And I realize that doesn't always make for the most engaging first impression. At any rate, if you do find this person and you judge them to be a viable candidate for our association, I ask that you do your best to persuade them to visit at least us here. I ask that you do your best to persuade them to at least visit us here. Felt like I read that wrong. Anyways. And since this assignment will take you all the way to Iria, take this with you. These wings of a goddess will at least ensure a swift trip from Iria back to home base. They're not so much for you since you've already communed with the Arcana flame. I know you're able to quickly reach this room from just about anywhere. But for a candidate who hasn't, the journey from Iria to Tara would be a rather long trip by any standard. Better to remove any obstacles to membership, I say. Anyway, I fear I rambled on a bit too long. I'll leave you to it then. Have a safe journey. Noir nods, handing you a Wings of a Goddess. Travel to Core Village and speak with Kosai. Where is it? Is it an actual item? No, I don't actually use it. Anyways, so I need to do... Wait, no, not Dungeon. Travelers. And then... Core Village. Blazing Brawlers, Fist of the South Sands. Wait, that's what the quest name is? Welcome, young one. Has the guidance of the Great Spirit led you here? Ask about someone strong. Ask about someone's special powers. You ask Kosai if he knows anything about a person who exhibits signs of an unusual power, explaining to him a few examples of abilities possessed by other successful Arcana Association members. Kosai thoughtfully strokes his mustache as he thinks, finally clearing his throat. Are you referring to the shamans? They do possess mysterious and powerful abilities of the sort you described. I'm uncertain who or what you're looking for, given the level of detail you went into. I suspect you're not simply looking for someone who's simply strong in general terms. Try to explain Arcana. Launching into your best impression of Loire, you attempt to explain Arcana to Kosai. Talking about green flames and crusts that can channel two different kinds of powers. As Kosai furrows his brows with a confused look on his face, you try gesturing expressively to emphasize your points. Someone who mixes together multiple powers in a unique way? I don't know anyone in our village who's capable of anything like that. I fear your trip here may have been in vain. The name you mentioned, Pluvia, is not one familiar to me either. I have no idea who would have sent you such a report or why. I hope you'll have better luck elsewhere. May the great Irinid guide your path. Chin in hand, Kosai continues racking his brain, trying to recall someone who might match your description. Suddenly, you see his eyes suddenly widen as if he remembered something. Actually, wait. They don't live here in Core, but I do remember one fellow who might be the sort of person you're looking for. He's a fighter, a drifter really, who wanders through these parts every year or two, sometimes longer than that. Of all the visitors we've had here, he's certainly among the most peculiar. Truth be told, I know very little about the man, but I believe Tupai may be able to tell you more. When he first showed up in the village, Tupai and Ruai were the first to seek him out. I hope they'll know enough to put you on the right course. Now, let us part in peace. May Irenaeid guide your path. Kosai closes his eyes, perhaps still revealing from trying to process your attempt to explain Arcana. Find Tupai and ask him what he remembers about this itinerant fighter? Itinerant fighter. No. Oh, don't fight. Okay. Ask about the fighter. You ask Tupai what he remembers about the vagabond fighter Kosai told you about. At the mention of him, Ruai begins eagerly hopping up and down as though he's remembered something. Eek, oh! Right, Ruai? Right? Ruai remembers him too. even though it was a long time ago. You don't forget a meeting like that. We saved his life. Tupai is still proud. We even have something he left behind too. Yuri, you still have it, right? Where is it? Eek, eek. Yuri rummages around, finally holding out his fluffy paw. Looking closely, you see that he's holding a small piece of wood. Use the fighter's trinket to examine it. Use the trinket. A distinctive pattern is carved into the smooth piece of wood. You get the sense it holds traces of memories, and that, with enough focus, you may be able to see them as though you were there. You focus on the carved pattern, running your fingers across it. What was that? Oh, there's your problem. Your bare feet. All this walking and not a single proper well in sight. I'm gonna die of thirst. I've got a bad feeling about this place. Of course, I should have listened to my gut feeling. Venomous rock scorpion. Showing up when I'm already worn out? Not exactly sporting of you. This is bad. At this rate, it's only a matter of time before I make a fatal slip-up. Can I really just keep throwing the same wild punches that have carried me this far? Oh my god, you get poisoned. No, that ain't gonna work. I need more power. Come on, think. Is there anything I've learned that I can draw on for greater strength? Yeah, it was enough of a struggle just getting out of there. To think I'd have to reflect on the worst times of my life makes me want to hurl. But if that's what it takes, then fine. If it's either that or dying, well, guess I've got nothing to lose. I'll channel all those years I spent studying the blade into these fists. He's just going to build your fury. Kind of funny, it's just kind of walk around. Heavy breathing, I can feel the power crackling through every nerve. My focus is so clear right now. Not what I was setting out to do, but you know what? I'll take it. There has to be some way I can put this power to use. Looks like I'm still fine. I might really be on to something here. I just harness it. Wait, are these... So basically you just have to build up. Wow, I thought I was strong enough before. But now I can pull off something like that? And now I can pull... Yeah, that's supposed to be double F. But now I can pull off something like that? Crazy! And I just realized, I'm not as partial as I was before. My whole body feels lighter, too. I've been trekking through this desert long enough. It's time to move on. I've even managed to get in touch with him. Seeing as I've got all this energy to spare now, maybe I should set out for somewhere I've never been. I could even cross the mountains and see what's on the other side. Okay, so there are actually trees here. Scraggly half-dead looking trees, sure, but they've got a few leaves. Now there's even more greenery than before. And where there's life, there's gotta be water somewhere nearby. Wait, isn't it raining? Looks like coming here was a smart move. What you doing? Damn. Looks like the land just goes on forever. And it's been way too long since I had a drink. Oh, and then that's how they show up. Okay, let's see if we can find some bait. Eek. Eek. Eek, 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 eek. What is it, Roy? You're screeching like an eagle. It's a man. Looks like he's alive. Come on, Roy. Let's get him to the village. That's when we first met the fighter. We shared food and water with him. He stayed here for a while before moving on, but he still visits sometimes. We saw him just the other day. Ask where he went. As Levi finished telling you about how we first met the fighter, you ask if he knows where the man went. Don't know. He just said he was passing through, probably off to some new place he's never been. But he's a lone wolf, strong enough to wander anywhere without any companions. Oswald, even if you find him, that doesn't mean he'll want to talk. But if you still want to try, head towards the Rupus Desert. It sounded like he was headed in that direction. As you reflect on Tupai's account of meeting the man and the memories you witnessed, it feels like there's a strong possibility that this vagabond may have unknowingly tapped into the power of Arcana during his travels. See if you can find any traces of him in the Rupus Desert. So to the desert. Okay, anyways. Torn and tattered bandages lie half buried in the sand. They show signs of extensive wear, stained and dingy from long-term use. You discover signs that someone once made camp in this area. Check elsewhere to see what you can turn up. Oh my gosh, why is this... Okay. The bones of some small animal lie buried in the sand. It seems like someone has eaten the meat, leaving the inedible parts behind. You discover signs that someone once made camp in this area. Check elsewhere to see what you can turn up. A roughly carved piece of wood has been partially covered with wind-blown sand. It looks as though someone was midway through engraving with a unique pattern before discarding it, for whatever reason. Based on what you found, you think there's a good chance whoever left these traces behind may not have gone too far. Follow your instincts and see if you can find the wandering fighter. Wait, is he just right there? Oh, yes. Hello. You see a man with white hood pulled over his head, obscuring his hair and face from view. Bandages are wrapped loosely around his arms and legs, covering up the gaps left by his windborne... Wait, what? By his windworn... Wait, did they not finish that? I didn't expect to run into anyone out here. This is certainly a first. I came looking for you. You explained that you came from Core Village in search of a wandering fighter you heard about. The vagabond narrows his eyes, seeming taken aback. You ventured all the way out here looking for me? You must have an interesting reason, at least. Go on, I'm listening. The Arcana Association is looking for people just like you. Think of some other reason to break the ice first. Do we be straight or break the ice? I kind of want to break the ice. You come up with some other reason, thinking you might be able to ease into mentioning the Arcana Association if you can catch his interest. Look, I don't know what you're really after, but whatever it is, I'll pass. I may wander from place to place, but that suits me just fine. Never felt the need to change things up. Besides, you barely know the first thing about me. You must be pretty trusting to come chat with a total stranger out in the middle of nowhere. Trusting or foolish. You get what I'm saying, right? No. You get what I'm saying, right? If so, just go back wherever you came from. Goodbye. The vagabond seems to have little interest in continuing this conversation. But if you plan to fulfill your lures... Wait, how is it?
Loire.
Loire. This is going to be such a confusing transition. To fulfill Loire's request, you'll need to try to talk with him again. He's reputed to be a fighter of surpassing skill, right? Perhaps wearing a pair of knuckles will get his attention. Find a pair somewhere in your inventory, equip them, and speak with the vagabond again. Wait, I really have to equip a pair of knuckles? Was it this one? Yeah, I think this is the one I have. So, you've got a pair of knuckles too. Interesting. Okay, so the first thing you should know about me, I don't really like being told where to go or what to do. It's a big continent and you're free to roam anywhere you want, as long as it's not wherever I am. Now, go on, get out of here. Not quite yet. Well, I actually need to use my own, or will it auto set up? Oh wait, I don't think I have a spider set up. As for the vagabond's waning patience, you decide to draw back for now. If Laura's request continues to weigh on you, tries to be... Oh, that was just to cancel. Dang it. Wait quietly.
Loire.
With Loire's request still fresh in your memory, you remain exactly where you are, the fighter sighs, slowly curling his fingers into fists. Sigh. Looks like you're totally oblivious to why I hate things like that. I asked you nicely, but if you refuse to go back, I'll send you packing myself. At least then you'll see I'm not fit for polite society. Wait, are we gonna fight him? Dang it, my hood is completely soaked. Guess there's no helping it then. There we go. Huh. What? Have you never seen a black-haired elf before? Wait. Black hair is not that uncommon, is it? If you know anything about the people of Philia, you can probably guess I had a hard time growing up among other elves. These days, I hate being tied down to anyone or anything. How about you? You look like someone who's confident enough to let your fist do the talking. But why'd you come all the way out here looking for me? I don't have much to offer. This is just about all I know how to do. Anyway, how about it? Want to see if you can pick up a thing or two? Might as well, right? I've got nothing left to my name, but I've got more time than I know what to do with. Alright, you ready? Fire within... The power I channel for my attacks I just call Fury, but I don't think you're ready to handle something like that yet. For now, why don't you see if you can get the hang of a few of the skills I've created? Though, now that I think about it, there's not much to attack out here. Just practice on me, I guess. No hits to the face or groin, though. You've gotta promise to me that. Impressive. You picked that up faster than I expected. I found that weaving in strikes like those makes for much harder hitting combos. Alright, how about this? If you can handle the strain of channeling your fury, you should be able to pull off something like this. Attack after activating Berserker's Fury. Wait. So this consume one fury to bolster your body, temporarily increasing your attack power resilience. Though faint, you can feel heated by fury by your focus. You may be able to draw on even more power to empower your attacks. Oh, you picked that up pretty quickly. No wonder your punches felt extra spicy. What? Okay, I can see you've got talent. Want to try one of my signature moves? This one's a real heavy hitter. Use Radiant Storm. Which one's that? Ow! Didn't tell you to go easy on me. Still, it's incredible how fast you're learning all this. As you keep using it and getting more comfortable channeling this energy, you should even be able to rush right to a target after evading their attacks with the well-timed tumble. I'm still trying to perfect the timing on that, though, so I can't teach you how to do it yet. Hate to say it, but that's about it. I've taught you everything I know. I shouldn't be surprised there are warriors as phenomenal as you out there in the world. Guess I just never thought I'd meet one. But now that you've learned how to fight like me, that means there's no need for me to go there myself, right? You can just go and pass along these techniques to whoever you think is worthy. The Arcana Association is looking for people just like you. What? I'm not going to join your club or whatever. I just got here. I'm still trying to settle in. I was finally about to enjoy some real peace and quiet with no one around to bother me. Can't you just leave me alone? Is that too much to ask? The elven vagabond doesn't seem like he's going to budge on this. How does the informant who wrote the letter know him? And why did they recommend him? Unable to think of anything that might sway him, you leave behind the wings of a goddess Loire gave you, capable of carrying the user directly to the Arcana Association. Oh? What's this wing thing? Looks interesting. Don't I'll ever have a use for it, though. Anyway, safe travels. The rain's starting to come down harder. You're strong, but still, be careful. Here in the desert, rain doesn't quit until it's turned every patch of dust and sand into mud. Is there any way to persuade this fighter to come with you? Perhaps someone from Philia might be able to help. You remember Hagel being well-traveled. Go and ask him if he knows anything about an elf with a flamboyant mastery of martial arts. What the? The sudden teleport is very disorienting. Oh my goodness. Lag. Okay. Eisenwald? With the weather like this, it's no time to be traveling. Is something the matter? Ask about the black-haired elf. You ask Hagel if he can tell you anything about a black-haired elf. He grimaces, his ears flattening in a sign of clear displeasure. A black-haired elf? You must be looking for Atrada. You can typically find her east of here, at the healer's house. I don't know if you're aware of this, but elves born with black hair are often regarded as a sign of ill omen. Oh, that's right. To you, it might sound like some kind of antiquated superstition, but it's something our people have believed for a long, long time. Maybe in ancient times they regarded black hair with such suspicion because it's so uncommon. I've explored much of the world, but I've only ever seen a handful of elves with it. You know any men with black hair? The elven vagabond seemed pretty clearly a man to you for a number of reasons, not least of which was his exposed chest. You ask Hagel if he knows any guys with black hair. I never met anyone like that in Philia. Even back when the memory tower still stood, I had no knowledge of a black-haired male elf here. If I never knew it, even when we were all connected, that's about as certain as it gets that there's no such person. Would you look at that? The rain's really coming down now. The rain starts falling harder, each raindrop pelting you with enough force that it almost stings. Sorry to cut our conversation short, but I need to go around and see to the flood mitigation efforts in the city. It doesn't rain too often in the desert, but when it does, it can quickly saturate the ground. That kind of instability can damage buildings and put people in danger. We haven't seen a torrential downpour like this in years. You ought to take shelter indoors. It appears that Hegel isn't acquainted with the elven fighter you're looking for. Does this really mean he's an elf completely unaffiliated with Philia? Well, at the very least, no one could claim that you haven't made a thorough effort in your search for more information about this potential Arcana candidate. You should return to the Arcana Association for now, if only to get out of the pouring rain. Oh, he is here. What? You see an... yeah. You see an elf, toned and tanned, with long black hair tied in a bushy ponytail that spills over his shoulders. Bandages are wrapped loosely around his arms and legs. Oh wait, is this still him? To the scorched sun. As he clenches his fist, you can feel in rhythm of his breathing an unwavering confidence and an unyielding will. Oh, it's you again. Guess our next meeting was sooner than either of us was expecting, eh? I really have to hand it to you, Eisenwald. This association couldn't ask for a better recruiter. I'm proud to say that thanks to your hard work, Ader has become the newest member of the Arcana Association. Say what now? When you talked with him in area, the Wanderer clearly expressed having no interest in joining the Arcana Association. So, what changed since you saw him last? When you ask what Ader is doing here, Loire's expression darkens, his tone now more concerned than before. Pardon? When he first introduced himself, he expressly mentioned that you had extended him an invitation to the association. Oh, so that's how he interpreted it. Yeah, so when I showed up, all I said was that I came here with all I said was that I came here with the help of some magic trinket given to me by someone extremely strong. Area's had some heavy rains recently, and a couple days ago, the few belongings I had were washed away in the flash flood. In all the years I've spent wandering the desert, this is the first time that's ever happened. It all happened so suddenly. There wasn't much I could do about it. Haha. I wasn't sure what I should do, and nothing else was coming to mind. So I just stripped, wrung the water out of my clothes, and decided to use that wing thing to come here. Ah, so that explains why you showed up at the association room without Isabald to formally introduce yourself. I know it may be a bit late for a proper introduction, but nice to meet you, Isabald. I'm Ader. Anyway, I was wondering if I could crash here for a little while. Even as a vagabond, I still need at least the bare essentials to survive. I'm not asking you to put me up forever, just until I can get that sorted out. Of course, it appears you possess considerable skill in both martial arts and close combat. So I'll show you a few crests later and have you select the one you feel best represents the nature of your abilities. However, I'd like to suggest that you join the association. You join the Arcana Association in at least provisional capacity. Located in a royal castle as we are, we can't simply provide room and board for anyone in need. Sure, I can do that if it gets me out of that constant rain. I'm good with whatever. Understood. You made a wise decision. In that case, allow me to briefly confer with Isabald. Loire moves closer to you, speaking in a hushed voice. So I sort of made up that requirement about provisional membership on the spot. I just need to figure out some way to keep Ader here. Since he does appear to possess an arcana, just pretend it's standard procedure for now. That aside, what did you manage to learn about Ader when you met him in area? Is there anything you think that might raise the appeal of transitioning from provisional to full membership? I still don't know that much about him. You tell Loire you inquired with Hegel in Philia, but didn't manage to learn anything. He seems to think for a moment, his expression darkening. Wait a minute. There's a part of this story that isn't adding up. I suppose the quickest way to get the answer after is to just ask him outright. Excuse me, Ader. Yeah? Are you saying you've never seen heavy rains in the desert before? If you've been wandering as long as you say you have, I would have figured you'd experienced weather like that at least a few times through the years. Have you never lost your belongings before? If you have, how do you usually handle it? Are you really sure all your belongings are irrecoverably gone? And perhaps the most confusing quandary of all, as an elf, why wouldn't you have gone to Phalia for aid first? That would have been the nearest friendly settlement, would it not? Wait, what's this all about, Isabald? Have you been trying to dig up dirt on me? There's no one in Phalia who'd be talking about me, I can tell you that much. Oh, it's not like I'm trying to keep it a secret or anything, so I might as well tell you before you get suspicious. I used to have someone who checked in on me and saw to my welfare, but they're gone now. Oh, I'm sorry, did they pass away suddenly? No, we got divorced. I beg your pardon? But did I hear that correctly? That's what I said. I recently separated from my wife, so I don't have anyone looking after me now. In the past, when things like this happen, I'd wait for her to come and she'd help get me back up and running. Yeah, Pluvia always took good care of me. But she's out of the picture now. That didn't leave me with much in the way of options, which is why I ended up taking Azamald up on their invitation. We ended things on good terms, so I don't mind talking about it. I still can't figure out, though, how did you even find me? Did you scour every corner of area looking for a homeless guy wandering around getting into fights with the local wildlife? No, nothing quite that ambitious. Apologies. I was just caught a little off guard and needed a moment to find the right words. As for where we got our information, we were told where you might have gone while we were asking around Core Village. Agree with Loire. Loire makes no mention of the letter of recommendation the association received from Pluvia, who you now know to be Ader's ex-wife. You nod fervently, doing your best to corroborate his story. Technically, you did find an important lead in Core, so you're not really lying, right? Alright, with that settled, since you'll be staying with us at the Arcana Association for a while, I look forward to working with you, Ader. Right. God, when you launch... Wait, what? God, when you launch into your big explanations, Loire, it's hard to get a word in edgewise. But if you're just about wrapped up, that means I can finally say hi to our new member, right? Oh, Glora, I didn't realize you've been watching. Wait, where is she? Oh, jeez, I forgot that the room expanded. Wait, where is she? Oh, she's right there. I thought that was someone else. Oh, Glora, I didn't realize you've been watching. By all means, let's properly introduce you. Ader, this is Glora, a skilled puppet master, performer, and member of our association. I'm only joining for the time being, but still, I hope we'll get along. If you didn't catch it earlier, I'm Ader. It sounds like you prefer to keep things casual. That's great. It's always easier to chat without having to be all proper and formal. Anyways, it's great to meet you, Ader. I'm Glora. You like music, right? You should totally come see one of my performances. Sure, I may look pretty now, but I shine even brighter when I'm in the spotlight. Huh. Was dealing with people always this exhausting? Or is it just because it's been so long? Anyway, yeah. Nice to meet you. Thanks for introducing us, Loire. I'm gonna go practice my set list now. Catch you later. Yes, thank you for keeping me in the loop, Glora. Ader, please don't hesitate to tell me if you feel any difficulties adjusting to life here in the association. Will do, Chief. Glora leans in, speaking quietly enough that only you can hear him. I still find it suspicious that the elves of Philia don't seem to know anything about Ader. We should keep an eye on him for now. I believe I've gotten a rough understanding of the techniques Ader's fighting style employs, and how he channels energy. I'll provide you with the crest he's chosen, so you ought to be able to begin exploring this Arcana as well. I'll do my best to continue studying the workings of Ader's Arcana while he's staying with us at the castle. If my intention to help him as much as I'm able... It's my intention to help him as much as I'm able, in hopes I can convince him to join us here as a full member. It does seem somewhat challenging to deal with, but in a different way than I've come to expect from candidates. You've done well getting him to this point, Eisenwald. From here, it'll be a team effort. Ader has joined the Arcana Association. Together you can delve deeper into the blazing Brawler Arcana talent, of which he has proven a paragon. Blazing Brawler has now been unlocked. Fire within. Let me see. Do I have anything available? No, it's literally just that. Dang, so you actually need to like level up a couple of times before you can even start using the talents. Man, I haven't even started training Arsenal Gunner. Been so off. Okay, anyways. So that's Melodic Puppeteer and Blazing Brawler unlocked. So this is the crest. Eh. Okay, anyways. That's it for now. Until the next Arcana. I think the next ones are supposed to be life skill Arcanas. That'll be interesting to see. Okay, goodbye.